Dragomon Hunter is an interesting game. I'll be honest here, I didn't set my expectations very high. See, Dragomon is a blatant ripoff of Monster Hunter, and it holds no shame. Well, maybe ripoff isn't the right word, but it's obvious that Dragomon was inspired by Monster Hunter. I'll get more into that later, but essentially all you need to know for right now is that Dragomon is a free-to-play MMORPG with chibi anime graphics and a focus on big game hunting, whatever that means. When I clicked on the Steam page for Dragomon Hunter, I remember seeing the trailer and going, whoa, hold on just a minute here. This game looks remarkably similar to Monster Hunter. Maybe if I'm lucky, it'll be alright. It'll be fun. And then reality struck me in the face. It's free to play, the chibi art style, the mixed Steam reviews, that should have been the clincher right there. If a free game can't maintain a decent Steam rating, what even is the point?
Isn't this weather great?
But come on now, is that really an excuse not to play this game? When I actually launched the game, after making an account and all that jazz, I was confronted with a commercial for the game that I was about to play. Let's be real here, why do I need a commercial for the game that I was already going to at least start up? Listen, Area Games, I know you want me to play your games and all, but if I go through the effort of downloading several gigabytes, and then go through the hassle of making an account, you could sleep well knowing that I'm at least going to put in at least 15 minutes of your game. Usually. Alright, so we're in. I didn't record my first character creation when I initially played this game, so let's just go ahead and make a new one, check out the other classes, you know, see what we have to pick from. Of course, we have the soldier guy, the mage guy, the healing guy, and the peckish rogue guy. And lastly, the slightly more agile soldier guy. One thing that really strikes me as funny is that Dragomon wears its inspiration from Monster Hunter right on its sleeves. There are quite a few similar weapon styles here. Sure, I can forgive the great sword, the long sword, and even the dual blades, but the hunting horn? That's a pretty iconic weapon from the Monster Hunter series. Oh well, just the fact that there are classes kind of separates itself from Monster Hunter, but this is an MMO after all, so what can you really expect? And the character creation is honestly pretty simple. You get a handful of eyes, hairs, and colors for each. Some of them are pretty silly, like this one. It looks like he doesn't even want to be seen playing this game. You also get to make your little buddy, this little bunny bro. He kind of looks like he regrets his life decisions. Alright, so we're in the game with this new character. I hate starting new characters, I just thought you should know, because I've already played this game, yet I'm still being bombarded with dialogue boxes. You start off in this training grounds, it's basically the tutorial, and you talk to a few people, and then you fight this super easy dragon that accidentally stumbles into the area, and then you're whisked away to do fetch quests in town. It's really pretty straightforward. But my main issue right now is that we've been playing for like 20 minutes, and we're still going through the motions in this stupid tutorial. I just want to hunt some monsters, some actual decent monsters, instead of these walrus guys. We fought that dragon guy pretty easily, let's go ahead and do that again. I'm tired of games holding my hands. Trust me, I've been around the block with all sorts of video games, and these free-to-play games aren't going to attract very many people who haven't played other games. Let me just venture out and learn things the hard way. Let me go into an area and get slaughtered by enemies that outclass me in every way. Remember Morrowind? That game let you go anywhere and do anything, and if you're unlucky, you were insulted by cliff racers or those terrifying dinosaur guys. Just give me some freedom. I'm sorry that was kind of uncalled for, I just needed to get that out of my system, but it wasn't entirely irrelevant, because Dragomon is totally guilty of holding your hand every single step of the way. In fact, you're locked out of fighting certain monsters and making equipment until you finish certain story quests. But, oh my god, the quest, dude. Check this. Say I have all these quests, right? Well, the first thing you have to do is sit through novels of poorly written dialogue to actually get the quest, and afterwards your objectives will show up on the side of the screen. The developers must figure nobody actually reads NPC dialogue, because all you have to do is click on your objective in the quest log, and you'll run right there automatically. Even if it's in another area, you just click once and you're good to go. I thought this was so funny. Like, it's an MMO, branding itself in the hunting genre, so I can see why they did it, but it just requires no effort at all. Why even bother going through the trouble of adding all these quests to the game if you could just click once and be there in a couple seconds? Why not just have people go, hey, I need to kill this marshmallow shark, and your character would be all like, yeah, I got it. Instead, you're forced to wade through this Dagobah of fetch quests. It's not even hunting. There are quests that are like, hey, go deliver this note to the blacksmith. And then when you get to the blacksmith, he's just like, okay. Well, how about some feedback? What did the note say? It must not have been very important because you're just standing there doing absolutely nothing. I don't know, but it just really bothers me. Like, what the heck? Let's change courses. Let's talk about the combat. So you get your hunting quests from hunting boards that are right next to these portals. The boards will tell you what to hunt, and the portals will take you to these individualized areas made specifically for that quest. It's an alright system, but as I said before, you have to take breaks to do fetch quests in order to actually unlock more monsters to fight. Like, look here, I finished all the previous missions, but I can't unlock this one to kill some plant monster. It's because I haven't finished the necessary story missions, which is really frustrating. When you do actually get in to fight some monsters, the combat will seem pretty clunky. And it is. It's not that Monster Hunter clunky, though. It's more like the developers tried to adapt a typical turn-based MMORPG into an action hunting game. All of your attacks are tied to the number keys, and you have to be stationary to use many of them, which means you'll be running around, stopping, and then pounding on a number of keys. This really breaks up any fluidity in combat because other than that, you'll just be running around dodging monster attacks. When monsters are about to attack, you'll see shapes on the ground designating where that attack will hit, kind of like WildStar, so you'll be rolling and moving all over the place, but when it's finally time to attack, you have to put on the brakes and just kind of sit there. There is controller support, and it certainly helps with the combat, but it also complicates navigating any of the menus. It's kind of a double-edged sword. There are a few classes to choose between. Initially, I chose a cleric and a scout, for two reasons. One is that the cleric has a weapon called the hunting horn. Two, the rogue uses dual blades, which are my jam, and that was basically the only reason. Fortunately, each class does play differently. They each gain a variety of skills depending on your weapon. On my scout, he has a bunch of neat little dual blade skills, while my cleric has more long-range magic attacks. Once you get to level 20, you unlock a new weapon type to use. My scout can switch between a dual blade and a rifle, each with its own set of skills, so it's kinda neat, and the new skills are unlocked every few levels in typical MMO fashion. I'll be honest, the visuals in Dragomon Hunter are pretty nice to look at. The whole anime chibi thing really works well here. Unfortunately, when I turn the shadows on high, my game freaks out and flashes, but if I turn it down a couple notches, it runs pretty well and it looks alright. Unfortunately, all aspects of the sound are extremely grating. Voiceovers are a highlight here, they're just plain bad. Whenever you finish a quest, you'll get to hear this.
Reward time! Choose wisely, Hunter.
You'll want to turn off the voiceovers. The music doesn't fare too well either. It has that happy-go-lucky vibe that you would expect to see with a chibi art style. It doesn't really mean it's any good though, so I don't recommend listening to the music. It's pretty atrocious. I haven't seen a whole lot of the monsters in Dragomon Hunter, but I can speak from what I've seen and what I've fought. Many of them just kind of remind me of Pokemon, like this fish guy or this cool bear, but then others were obviously inspired by Monster Hunter, like this dragon and this relative of the Hermitar. It's not necessarily bad or anything, they are kind of neat. Their movesets are varied from what I've experienced, even if the actual animations seem a tad generic. It seems like every monster has a spin move, a charge attack, and a frontal attack. If you plan on playing with friends, don't. You can't quest together except for a handful of quests labeled as party. There are instance dungeons and PvP to look forward to. I'm not a terribly huge fan of PvP, but you have to be at least level 30 to get into that. And I really tried, I swear to God, I really did try, but I couldn't make it that far. I'm sitting at level 21, but I feel as though I've seen enough of the game and spent enough time, approximately 15 hours or so, to give this game a fair shot. Take that for what it's worth. And now for Game Taco's Game Design 101. If you want to keep me as a player in your MMORPG, please, please, please don't hold expendable inventory items such as backpacks hostage in your game. I already know from the gameplay that I'm never spending any money in Dragomon Hunter, but when I see that the only way to expand your very limited inventory and your bank is to either A, buy backpacks from a cash shop, or B, spend an absurd amount of money to buy them from other players, I feel like I'm just at a serious disadvantage. I was constantly running out of inventory space while playing this game, and honestly, I think any developer or publisher who holds items like that hostage is just a huge scumbag. It sucks having to destroy or sell useful materials in order to make room for equipment and vice versa. Of course, this is a problem with a lot of cash shops in free-to-play games, but seriously, you don't have to castrate your players and make them feel like they're forced to spend money on your game. If your game is fun, many players will gladly support you through things like cosmetic purchases, not backpack upgrades. So, Dragomon Hunter. It's not a good game, but honestly, and I'm probably being a little sympathetic here, it's not absolutely terrible. When I first found out about this game, I absolutely hated it. The thought of playing it was like stepping on a Lego without any shoes on in the middle of the night. But there are a few things that I did enjoy, such as the variety of monsters. In a way, it's almost like that guilty pleasure sort of bad, you know what I mean?
Let's kick some ice.
That being said, I can't recommend it at all. If I were to put this little review on Steam, it would totally be a thumbs down. Thank you for watching, everyone, and I hope you enjoyed episode 2 of Monster Hunter Clones. Next time, we're going to take a look at Final Fantasy Explorers on the 3DS. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe for more Monster Hunter-y goodness, and also make sure you follow Game Taco on Twitter and Twitch. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.